questions. If I were you on your little card, I would make sure that you put this. All right, that's the 45, 45, 90 triangle, and then the 30, 60, 90 should be this setup. I have had it before where people have a note card and they put these on there and they put them on their note card wrong. So they do every problem involving those wrong because they filled out their note card wrong. So make sure that across from your 30 is your L, across from your 60 is your L rad 3, and your hypotenuse is 2L. And that in the 45, 45, 90, you have L, L, L rad 2. Okay. Any questions for me? Oh, and make sure you spell SOHCAHTOA right. I would put this on your cheat sheet too. Right, SOHCAHTOA. What do you have questions on? 10 through 21. 18. All right, so law of cosines, again, I would put this on your cheat sheet also. This one is, anyone know it off the top of your head now? A squared equals, no?
What is this?
This is the law of cosines.
No clue.
No? You're going to want to pay attention right now then. Put this on your cheat sheet. And if you don't know what that is, then make a triangle with a capital A, a lowercase a B, and a C on your cheat sheet as well, so you know where everything goes. This would be your setup. The capital A is always the angle, and then the side across from that is the lowercase a. So A's across from each other, and then B and C are interchangeable. So in this case, if we're using the law of cosines to solve this, instead of A squared, it's X squared right now. And then your B and C are 81 and 72. So 81 squared plus 72 squared minus 2 times 81 times 72 times the cosine of 50. So you're just plugging this into your calculator. If you plug it in just how you see it, I guess it depends on the calculator. Some calculators you can just straight plug it in how you see it and you're fine. Hopefully you figured that out when you were doing this in the chapter that we did this in, which I can't remember what chapter that was right now. Was it 8? Maybe 8. So just make sure that you know how to plug that in to get the answer you need. And then you got to make sure you square root it at the end because this is X squared right now. So let me plug it in and see what we get here. You have 81 squared plus 72 squared minus 2 times 81 times 72 times the cosine of 50. Make sure I have the right number here. All right, so you should be getting that X squared equals 4,247.525. And then you're going to square root that. So when you square root that, X comes out to about 65.2 would be to the nearest 10th. Okay. While we're here, because this is another good one to put on your cheat sheet, do you remember law of sines? This is the one where you do the sine of an angle over the side across from it equals the sine of another angle over the side across from it. So, for instance, in this setup, if we call this A and this B, then this would be a lowercase b and a lowercase a, right? So you're just setting it up in that format. So we would say the sine of 22 over the side across from it, which in this case is x, equals the sine of 112 over the side across from that, which is 15, and then you'll cross multiply. So it'll be 15 sine 22 equals x sine 112. These were the ones that you had to be a little bit careful how you plugged them in, because your calculator is going to start a parenthesis here. You need to make sure you end it here before you divide by sine 112. Okay, so you can plug that into your calculator as long as you keep your parentheses there. So 15 sine 22 divided by sine 112, and that comes out to 6.1, which was all you had to solve for on this one. I know there's a y there, but it just said use the law of sines to solve for x. So, anything else? Yeah, Piper. Yes. Okay, 16 is always a problem that I feel like people, after seeing things like this, like 13, 14, 15, and even 11 and 12, get to this problem and think, what am I supposed to do with that? Do you know any angle measures in that problem? You know one. You know you have a right angle, right? So this is not a 30, 60, 90. It's not a 45, 45, 90. But you have two sides of a right triangle. How do you find the third side? Pythagorean theorem. So you're going to go 4 squared plus x squared equals 18 squared. And then just make sure simplest radical form. So you're doing 18 squared minus 4 squared. You get x squared equals 308. So when you square root that, did I put it in simplest radical on here? I don't even remember. Yeah, I did. So if you break that into a perfect square and a non-perfect square, your only perfect square that goes into 308 is 4. So you have 4 and 77, which would make it x equals 2 rad 77. That's as simple as you can go with it. Okay. Other questions? So you're all confident with a rotation? Maybe we should do that one? Yeah. Okay. Before I do that one, are there any other ones here that you want to see? Because I can't do the rotation on the iPad. So 15, 16, 13. Do you remember how to solve for an angle with SOHCAHTOA?
Yeah.
The inverse? Okay. Yeah, 10 through 15, you're good on those kind? Okay. Let's do a rotation.